Hello everyone, welcome to Code Dev. This is the part 2 video of an Angular series, and today we will learn about few Angular CLI command which is very important, and we will initialize one Angular project, and then I'll explain the structure of the application, structure of the Angular project. So these are the few basic CLI command which we use frequently. The first one is ng-new and the name of the project. So it is used to initialize your project. Whenever you create a project, you have to use this command. So it will create a few files for you which is required to run your Angular application. So next one is ng-build. Whenever you want to deploy your application in a real-time environment, it required build artifact, right? So to generate those artifacts, we used to hit this command ng-build, which will build your application. The next one is ng-serve. That this command is usually used to most frequently we use to run our Angular application. The next one is ng-generate. This is also very important command which helps in generating your basic templates. For example, if you want to generate a component, we used to write ng-generate component, and then you have to provide the name of the component. It will generate a template structure for you, which contains CSS file, one TypeScript file, and one HTML file, and one testing file. So you don't need to create individual file one by one. So on one go it will create a template for you. Similarly, you can create your services also with the help of this command. So this is very important command. So next we have a ng-test. So basically to test your component, to test your application, we used to write this command ng-test. So next we will create one sample project. We will initialize one project, and I'll explain the structure of the application. So I have opened VS Code. So let me just initialize the project. I will hit this command ng-new. Let's give a name as test project. I will hit enter. Now it will ask me some basic questions like whether would you like to add Angular routing or not. Routing is basically used to navigate from one page to another. So if we say yes, it will create one file for you, and it will write the basic template. So as of now I don't need this, but later on we can. So this is my application look like, this whole structure as you can see. So first I will explain each folder, each file one by one. So the first one is E2E. E2E stand for end to end. So it refers to end-to-end testing of the website. It is used to track the user behavior on the website while testing. As of now we can ignore this file because it is mainly because of it helps in tracking the user behavior of the application, how the application behaves and how user is interacting with the website. We can track those. Next we have node module. Node module is this folder basically contains the third-party libraries and files. For example, if you want to get some data from backend, we required HTTP client, right, to call it and to get the data. So we don't require to write the whole logic to call the backend service. We simply import one HTTP library called HTTP client with the help of npm, and we will import that in our Angular application, and we can use those method. And also we can simply hit this npm install command to download all the dependency, all the library that is required to run your project. It will download all the dependency. We will come to know about the dependency thing. Next we have src folder. If I open that folder, you can see there is a few other folder as well, where apps, assert, environment. So in the app we basically write our code. It contains our components, this folder where we have to write our coding part, and other environment related things we can mention here. For example, by default when I initialize the project, by default this app component get automatically created, as you can see. So this is the part where we have to write the code. Okay, and next we have asset folder. In asset folder, this is the folder where we can kept our asset thing. For example, if you want to use some images, you can kept it. You can use any icon, files, etc. You can use any asset you want. We can kept it. Yeah, so next one is environment. This is the, you can see there are two file already been created. One is environment.ts and another one is environment.prod.ts. This is basically a configuration constant file which consumed by the application. You can kept your URLs, your backend URLs to call your backend service. For example, for different environment, you can create your own file as well here. By default, two files get created, one for prod, one for TS normal local file. Next is Falcon icon. That is basically a icon that appears in the browser tab of our application. So next we have index.html file. As you can see, this is the one HTML file, and you will notice that in the body section we have a one root app root tag. So that is the reason why we called it as a single page application. This Angular is as a single page application because it's the only file that is rendered, and it is in the body we are referring this tag which is already present in the app. Inside the app, you can see this tag is already present in the TS file of app. You can see the name of the selector is app root, right? So it is referring to this particular component, and you can create your own number of component, and you can nest things. So the reason why we call it a single page application simply because it is the only file that is going to render it. So next we have Angular main.ts. Main.ts, it is a referring to the starting point of our application. It bootstrap, or you can say it start the app module from the app module.ts. As you can see, we have a app module.ts file. It bootstrap this. It will initialize this file so that our application knows what are the components that we have to render it, what are the services that we have to render. So lot many things that needs to be initialized, that is being initialized with the help of this main.ts file. So next we have a polyfills.ts. So this is the file where which is used to basically compile our TypeScript to JavaScript method. So as you can see, it is importing the zone.js. So this zone.js helps in converting the TypeScript to JavaScript, because our browser is only understand this JavaScript, not the TypeScript. So next we have a style.css. We usually call it as a global CSS. We can define our own classes here, and we can customize things. Once we write classes here, it will implement it to whole project. Actually, this is a global CSS, you can say, and each component has its own CSS file as well. As you can see, app component TS had its own CSS file, but it is only scoped to this particular component. So it will once I write this any class in the style.css, it can apply to any of the component. Next we have test.ts. It is mainly a testing file. When we run this ng test command to test our application, this configuration file helps in running those testing thing. Next is browserlistic file. This is file used by the system to adjust the CSS and JavaScript output to support this browser specific thing. For the different browser, it has the configuration to support them. So next we have a editor.config file. This file is mainly used for organizing some basic things such as white space, code formatting, styling. So those are the things which is configured in this file. Next we have a gitignore file. This is the file which is used to ignoring few files while checking your code. when you try to push your code, these were the files which are been ignored by the git. So this is the git file. So next we have a angular.json. This file defines the structure of your application, that include setting associated with our application. All we can specify the different environment. For example, for the prod you want to render which file, for the environment you want to render which file. According to as per your environment you can specify the path. Here you can configuration, this is basically configuration file where you can specify your path and your location of your files. Where is your output path, where is your index file, where is your main file, you can specify as per your as according to your uh, environments. Next is karma config.js file. This is the configuration file used for karma testing. It is mainly used for unit testing file. It is mainly a configuration file for the karma testing. Next is next two file is very important. Like the first is package.json and next one is packet.lock.json. So package JSON, this is mainly a npm configuration file. All the dependency mentioned in the file, we can modify the dependency version on this file as per the need. For example, for running this application by default few dependencies are there. For example, zone.js, that is converting our TypeScript to JavaScript. There are so many other dependency is present. So these are the dev dependency, and it has the, as you can see, these are the versions that has been used, and all the module, all the libraries you will find it in the app module, node module here, sorry. So you can find those modules with the here. So with the help of this package.json, we can define our dependencies. And the package lock.json, this is basically a detailed version of your package JSON. It contains more detail of the package library. For example, any package is depending on other package. Let's say if you if you want HTTP client package, but that package also depending on some other uh, packages. So that has been mentioned here. Let's say this RxJS is required this ts.lib, this library. So it is a dependency with the another dependency. So it contains, this file contains the more detailed version of your requirement basically. Next is readme.md. This file mainly is created by default, and it contains the project description. You can mention your what are the project your project is all about. So next is next three files, as you can see, tsconfig.app.json, tsconfig.json, and tsconfig.spec.json. These all files are basically a TypeScript compiler configuration file. It is responsible for compiling your TypeScript to JavaScript so that your browser will understand the things. So the last one is tslint.json. This is basically helping in maintaining the readability and your functionality errors, white space error, few semicolons errors, all the errors that is been handled with the help of these files. Okay, so now let's run our application with the help of ng serve. Yeah, so now I think it is compiled. So let's open this in the browser. As you can see, it is compiled successfully. Now we got a one URL. This is http localhost 4200, sorry. So now it is opening. As you can see, this project is running. So by default, as you can see, by default this project is having this few commands, few resource link is available. So this is the summary that what we have learned just now. So you can go through this, and in the next video we'll talk about the components, and we will talk about how the components get rendered with each other. So thanks for watching. Goodbye.